One of the most important things as a restorative dentist is to know how thick your restorative material is going to be. So let's talk about crowns, for example. You have standard options, right? You have your zirconia crowns, you have your Emax crowns, metal, ceramic and metal. And you do know that from the literature, at least, we know that how strong these materials can be is very dependent on the thickness of those materials. So for example, you want zirconia definitely about 0.6 millimeters, you want Emax definitely about 1 to 1.5 millimeters, and PFM depends on what type of metal, how much layering, ceramic, but that again goes up to about 1.5 to 2 millimeters, and a base metal crown could even be as low as 0.3 millimeters. Now how do you know how thick this is? And especially after the lab sends it to you, you place it in the mouth, you've adjusted the occlusion, and now is that crown still thick enough to withstand those occlusal forces? I'm telling you that you need to measure this, and I'm going to show you how. So this is an Iwanson gauge, and you can see that it's graduated in tenths of a millimeter. So you can measure 1 millimeter, 2 millimeter, 3 millimeter, 4 millimeter and so on. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take, for example, our zirconia crown, and let's use the gauge, and we see that it's giving us about 1.2 millimeters, and that's pretty good. That's really nice for a zirconia crown. We're not going to have a problem. And remember, you need to measure at different parts. You may find more height, more thickness at the cusps, but you may find a little bit less thickness as you get into the grooves. A PFM crown, which has metal on the inside, we measure that, that's about 1.3, also acceptable, depends on the opposing occlusion of course. Here it's about 1.5, that's not bad. And then finally a metal crown, which needs to be the least of all of this. You can see how the caliper grips it, and that gives you about 0.3, 0.4. Then that's more than enough for a base metal crown. After watching this video, I hope you all go out and buy an Iwanson gauge, and I hope I've confused you enough. This is the Dental Review Guy signing off with a smile.